The whole organization, and it continues, is asking indigenous people what they need.
Prueba parte de estos acuerdos también debe establecer un fondo climático territorial.
Después en la mañana comenzó a taller. Taller era muy importante porque ya hemos avanzado. Bueno, me sacaron una copia, me aprendí con esto cómo manejar el proyecto, cómo hace para buscar fondo, cómo hace más que quieren aprender, cuál es tu problema, cuál es tu puede hacer más fácil. Era muy importante para mí.
It turns out to be different things in different times.
We are worried that much of this culture are becoming endangered or being threatened if we are not conscious enough to continually developing that culture. The danger of losing it is just behind our doors.
Also, again, a lot of what we do is linking indigenous peoples to opportunities. It's, as was said before, it's a network, but it's deeper than that.
My dream and vision and wish all rolled into one is that the bonds of friendship that were established here do not fade away, that they're strengthened continuously over the years and they grow.
The main goal with Tribal Link is making connections from different parts of all indigenous tribes. We are helping not for our own cause, but for each other's. It's helping each other with the fundraising, with the proposals, with the information, but also spiritually and helping us to be strong.
It also turns into grants for areas of entrepreneurship of indigenous peoples, as was said here. It sounds like a few people have projects that to do with being sustainable in their own right.
This training is so important, and for all peoples from all nations.
Yeah, the support from Tribal Link is very important. It helps me to connect and reconnect with my indigenous brothers and sisters from different parts of the globe, and also to understand their issues and also to share the concerns of my people, to come up with solutions whereby we can respond to the needs of our respective communities, and also to add pressure to our government to ensure that our rights as peoples are fully respected.
The invitation by Tribal Link was very useful, and while it may be easier for us to go to other parts of the world, to even go to a United Nations meeting, our visas are not easily done. All the good things that we plan to do without money, the commitment towards continuing this with indigenous peoples across very difficult regions, I think it's something I'm proud of.
My country is 4 meters above sea level and it is 26 square kilometers of land. Our people have survived on this piece of land for years, for generations. And to identify ourselves with the indigenous peoples of the world is critical to us, because this is where we build solidarity with our brothers and sisters around the world.
We indigenous people live in the struggle every day. We hunt, we fish every day, and everything comes from the forest.
we have Pacific, we have North America, we have Africa, we have Russia and Eastern Europe, we have Arctic, and Latin America.
These people at times are so close to the climate change, they cannot wait for the governments to make decisions for them. They're in climate change right now. They face it every day.
It's important for us to be here in Paris because we bring a lot of wisdom. We bring a lot of experience. We have coping with this problem for many years. We not contributed to the problem, but we're giving the solution.
So you're in exile.
Why am I here? I find to hear what each Indigenous person says about themselves, their community, and their vision totally transformational for me personally.
Indigenous peoples are living in the most fragile ecosystems like high mountains, the Arctic, the savannas or the deserts, as well as the low-lying coastal areas or small island states. These are the most easily affected by any change in the climate.
We are rising! We are not rooted!
I feel that started in 92 and it continues. So it's just one continuous sensibility of being the recipient of the knowledge of Indigenous people. I don't know how to say it any other way.
The human rights and the rights of Indigenous peoples need to be reflected in the final document.
Indigenous peoples have been carrying the burden of the adverse impacts of climate change, but their rights to continue to protect these ecosystems are being denied of them on an everyday basis. We want to ensure that the temperature of the world will be maintained at 1.5 degrees centigrade because that's the only chance that we will be able to recover, from the adverse impacts. But we also want to make sure that the emissions from the rich countries will really be drastically reduced.
There is no plan B because there is no other alternative planet that we can go to because we are running out of time.
So many people, especially, obviously we're here apropos of the UN Permanent Forum on Indigenous Issues. So many Indigenous rights watch groups and so on, NGOs have come to me and said, this film is our reality. Okay. So I've been, my consciousness has been elevated as a result of the aftermath of the film's success.
How has James Cameron changed as a result of this revelation that this thing has had so much power and touched so many people? What's it like personally for you?
Well, it's been a personal odyssey because I've met so many people who are so in need of some kind of media access, to have a voice, to have their issues understood by the greater public. But these are urgent issues, and so the effect that that's had on me is I get personally involved, and all of a sudden I'm busy and I'm doing things I've never done before. But we really need to benefit as civilized society from the wisdom of these people that have lived this way for thousands of years. Their wisdom is what we're lacking right now, and their value system is what we desperately need in order to survive.
What about, you had to move, right?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
A very significant situation, which is, I had this most wonderful loft in New York City, Pete, and it was the source of a lot of wonderful gatherings and activities, and I did have to leave it behind. So I think that's kind of changed me in terms of working more on writing about my experiences in my life. And all that occurred within the structure of being a New Yorker. I feel it's up to all of us to preserve all that is wonderful that we come across, people or things or music, that it's very fragile. It's a deep love affair, and I find it a privilege to be in that presence. And like that with this wonderful evening, there are other things that have that quality, but not so many. And so I feel fortunate to have that opportunity to be here. And what I was speaking to Derek, who was standing behind me earlier, and the idea is to say yes to everything that you hear that feels like it's going to do something wonderful. Mm-hmm. Whether it's hard or you don't have enough money or you don't have enough time, it's like you must. That feeling comes over you and somehow it works, and I really love you all. It's very simple. You know, I've had experiences with all of you. I mean, I've known everyone here for a very long time, and it's very wonderful to look out and see you all. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I want to welcome everyone here to Project Access. For me, it's a privilege to know all of you from other years as well as all our new people. And this training is something that people feel really deeply about, as Andrea was saying. And I think what has happened over the years, it's been over 12 years, that people become part of the Project Access family. So you'll be knowing all of us for many years to come for what you need in terms of your work for your community. For myself, I began at the Earth Summit in '92, responding to indigenous people saying that people come to help and then they tend to go away. So I said, I'm not going anywhere. So I'm here to serve your communities and yourselves. So thank you for the privilege.